Okay, so I've pulled off my wheel cover here on the rear of the Cybertruck, and what I want to show you is that this caliper cover, even though I tightened it up or tightened the bracket last week, is, again, hear that? It's loose. We can probably see it wobble a little bit there. Maybe you can see that in the video. You can certainly hear it. So as it goes down the road and it's sitting here chattering, very annoying sound. Obviously sounds like something is broken or not right. So I'm going to pull this wheel off. We're going to take this back off, and then I think I've come up with a way potentially to keep this from happening. I know some people have asked about jacking up the Cybertruck, and so I'm using this bottle jack, and I actually start the truck in high mode, or set it to high suspension setting, and then put this jack underneath, and then use the top screw to screw it up to the jacking point here underneath, and then start jacking the car up, or truck up, until I can get the wheel off of the ground. But this is what is this, a 20-ton heavy-duty bottle jack, so figured I ought to be able to take the weight of the Cybertruck. And then, of course, if I need to, so the jacking points are there. If I need to, the point for the jack stand is right there. You can kind of see the area that you would mount a jack stand in underneath there. So there's also another jack stand point there, and another jacking point there, which, if you read the jacking instructions that come with the car in the owner's manual, all of that is spelled out very clearly. So I'm going to get this wheel off, and then we'll continue. Okay, so the wheel is off. Why are we rattling here? Well, the reason we're rattling is that these black brackets don't fit snugly onto the caliper itself. So particularly, there's a little bit of gap there. This thing can easily chatter as it moves a little bit kind of in and out. So it doesn't matter how tightly you have the screws into the brackets behind if the brackets themselves are just going to chatter. So what I'm going to try to do is prevent these brackets from doing that. And initially I tried to, well, I'll get this thing off and then show you what initially I tried to do. Okay, so you can see that the caliper cover is held on by the two screws. The two screws go, where is it, into here, and then down over into here, into these brackets. But these brackets, they just slide on. See, like so? That one's loose. This bracket, again, just slides on, and again, is a little bit loose. Now, what I tried before was, see this little tab on the bracket here? I tried bending this inward, but that's pot metal. You try to bend that too much, that's just going to snap off, unfortunately. In fact, I had one snap off on the other side of the car, and surprisingly enough, I put in some 3M double stick tape just to try to hold that one down. That one's still holding down and isn't chattering because I pulled the other wheel off to check. And that might be a solution. Maybe you just want to put some 3M double stick tape between these items here, and that would be, oh, look, that one fell off. And maybe that would be enough to hold these on. I'm going to try a little bit different approach. Let me go grab what I picked up at the hardware store. So here's what I picked up at the hardware store, a couple of set screws. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole through here, tap that out with a little tap and die set, put the set screw in here, which is going to push this kind of away from the caliper, and it's going to snug that up so that the backside piece catches. And then if this is snug and it's fitting tight here, it's not going to be able to chatter around. So, you could maybe put a set screw if you wanted to do it on this side. I'm going to try it here because I think that's maybe the best place to do it. And again, I'm going to do it for both of these. Try to put set screws on so that these things fit tightly. Because if these things fit snugly and don't chatter around like this, well, then that should be just fine. And again, maybe you want to try some double stick tape. Maybe you want to get creative and put some epoxy glue in there and just glue those suckers on and call it a day. I didn't want to do anything that, if any point you need to be changing out stuff for your calipers and changing your pads later, I wanted something that was still easily removable, so putting something in like a set screw, for me anyway, I think is probably going to be the best solution. So now I need to go find my drill, my tap and die set, and get to work on installing the set screws into these two brackets. Okay, now that I drilled the hole through here and then I ran the tap and die through here and threaded this hole, now you can see that my set screw easily threads through this hole in the bracket. So I'm going to put this bracket back on and then tighten up that set screw, see how well that holds. Okay, here we are with the bracket installed, the set screw in, and I tightened that up, and this bracket is not chattering or moving. I am tugging on that pretty hard and it is not moving at all. So I think that's success. I'm going to do the same with this bracket to keep it from chattering around, and then we'll put this back on and I think it'll be problem solved. Now, I know this might be a lot of work. Not everybody necessarily has a tap and die set or wants to go to the hardware store and find set screws or whatnot. And again, double stick tape, epoxy, whatever you got to do. But it's these brackets moving on the caliper that is causing this issue. And really, this should be a better design from the factory. Okay, so now I have both brackets on here. This one with its set screw very tight. This one with its set screw very tight. So the next thing to do is get this cover on with both of those screws. Now, I will say that the distance between here and here, of course, needs to be the same as from here to here. So you might need to loosen the set screw up a little bit, adjust this a little bit, tilt it a little bit left and right, reset it to make sure that these line up exactly. It should be very close the way that it is, but and then another advantage of having a set screw is that I can move this around a little bit, get it adjusted exactly where I want it, and then tighten these set screws down. So I'm going to go ahead and mount the cover next. Okay, now I have the cover back on, and we can see I'm sitting here pulling, tugging, trying to move. This thing is not going anywhere. This bracket is secure. It's not flexing, it's not rattling, it's not chattering, etc. So I think this is a success, that if you want these rear caliper covers to stay on and not make noise, that you're going to have to do something to affix those two brackets. And whatever you decide to do is ultimately up to you. If anyone's in my area and wants help tapping these out and putting set screws in, I've been through the process now I know how to do it. In fact, I've done it on this side. I'm going to go do it on the other side of the truck, but no need to film that as well. I just thought this might be helpful for anyone who might be struggling with, having purchased a pair of these caliper covers and then finding out that they're loose and trying to figure out how to get them tightened and keep them tight over time. This is Tesla Ken for the HaloCybertruck.com website. Thanks for tuning in and stay tuned.